Hello and welcome to Starting Points, where one thing leads to another. Talking about whaling ships and whales. The two didn't necessarily come into play until people started hunting whales. And once they did, because the profits were high, more ships were built, more whales were killed. I guess in a sense it's not a very pretty picture. I have three pictures I'm going to show you though, to give you an idea that it wasn't risk-free. One, American whaling crushed in the ice. These American whalers were crushed in the ice. Now they're burning damaged ships so that they won't, they'll get burnt down, I guess, far enough that they'll sink then, and there won't be a hazard in any ships that might come to rescue them. I don't know if that will be burnt or not. This is Courier and Ives prints, and there was a company, I think in New York City, that took paintings and made pictures of them. Courier and Ives were the two owners. And the scenes are usually older type scenes, like in the 1800s. Here's another. I have three of them for you, so here's the second. This shows a sperm whale. That big square head in the jaw has grabbed hold of that one boat that's come to Spirit. The water's been roughed up, and here's another boat, a man being pulled aboard, another man swimming, and there's yet another man that's been knocked out of his boat on his way to the water. Not a easy venture. A man had one long pole that he rode with, and so I don't know. The ships don't have their sails fully rigged here, I suspect, so they don't move around. So they're still close by and handy. I don't really know. This is a right whale. That's the way its head would look, and a double spout. And again, now they seem to have had some success. And another one. One of the things about the right whales was that they would stay afloat in calmish water. And I can't tell there, it looked like another group of going out toward this whale. Another ship, I don't know. But this is like one of the first whale factories processing the ship right at sea. And that processing would carry on until they'd filled all the containers they could with oil to bring back. They would start, and two men would have sharp tools that would cut a strip, a part of a strip, into the whale, and cut it there as well. And then that would be clamped onto ropes, and then it would start to pull that up. And as it pulled it up, it pulled the whale over a little bit, and then the men cut some more, and they pulled that over and cut some more till they made their way around. And they'd have to be pretty good at balancing, especially the one that was working on this side, because they're working where it might be slippery from the fat. I would think, that doesn't look like a very easy job either. So there's that I wanted to share with you. Not an easy life. The captains of these ships, many were doing it for the money. Many were doing it with a sense that the only way to run a good ship is to run a tight ship and to be very demanding and sometimes cruel. Now, while I'm showing pictures, I have one more to show you. This was up here. This is a Japanese print. And I could sort of tell Japanese, that is a peach tree. And this is a small native bird. It says here a rumi, a ruri, on a branch of a peach tree. The person that painted this, born in 1739 and died in 1820, about when this is taking off, this whaling madness. Now, the funny thing is that many of these people have only lived in Europe or in the United States, and these crews here coming out of the eastern seaboard of the United States. Many of them have never had any contact with Japan. That Japan had artists. Now, Japan also had a long history because it's a series of islands, and people are pretty close to the water wherever. That fish was what they got their protein from. And so they've done fishing for a long period of time. And I remember showing you a picture of the Earth at night. It's a collage of many photographs taken of the Earth and pieced together. And you could make out the continents because of the lights of the towns and cities along the coast where people live. So the relationship to the ocean. And beside, in the Sea of Japan, that was all glowing because they have night fishing there, where the small boats go out. They've got lights around the boat and try to attract the fish up and find that that's a better time for fishing. And I would think that maybe the Americans actually introduced the idea of a factory ship. You know, you would process it right aboard ship. But the Japanese certainly have gone much further with that, as I showed with the map and talking about the fishing in perhaps over killing of whales, which aren't fish at all, they're mammals. And so I'd like to think somehow that people would not have to have laws to restrict them from what is common sense. You continue to take large quotas, you will reach a point where there aren't any more, and your business will be kaput. I don't know if they were to give up that process, what happens to the ship? Do they have insurance that would cover that so that I could see why, well, we've got all this invested and we've got all this figured out and all, I'm just trying to give them a benefit of the doubt. I'm not in favor of killing the whales, period. But, yeah. Now, well, they call him Eskimo Boy, because this was written at the time when that was the word that was used. But this Eskimo Boy, in the days of the whaling ships, Luck, Luck, and I know how to pronounce his name because I am given a Luck on the first page of the book. This book is organized as a story. The chapters are the 12 months of the year. So a year in the life of Niluk, and what they did in the different months, and what entertainment they had, and what things happened to them. I just was very much taken by the book. Francis Kittredge, Kittredge, and the illustrations were by someone with Inuit heritage. And so the illustrations are neat, but the story writing, I mean, this is all conversation as it starts out, and the things they're doing, and what the people are talking about, and what the games and pastimes and clothing and carving and puppies, so that I found it enchanting. It's what I did. And boot tops from the seas. Coming back, he's got a garland of hanging down like a necklace of 7 fish he's got. I mean, the same thing. It's limited food opportunities in the Arctic, much more limited than there would be in Japan. And just the way the young people talk and relate to each other, the way parents, grandmothers, community relate. There's just a really nice vibe. There's a sense of humor, there's laughter. Here's an Eskimo oil lamp. And I'm now in April, and all the villages come out to look to see if the whale hunters have returned. The snow and the ice still look as they had in the winter. This is April. April was the month when whales traveling northward passed near enough to the village for the men to go to the sea and hunt them. The villagers needed whales for food, but they were so hard to catch that some years the hunters did not get a single one. When that happened, there was not nearly enough food to eat. There'd be many days when boys and girls, and grown-ups too, would be so hungry that they chewed little pieces of walrus skin so they would not mind their hunger so much. Well, now, the story proceeds. The first ship comes and things like that. Now, let's see. They did get the whale. How the people rejoiced. How happy they were when they looked at the great whale. How much meat there'd be for them. Most of the meat would be frozen in their deep outdoor meat sellers to be eaten the next winter. How much blubber there would be. The oil from the blubber would keep their igloos warm in the freezing cold of winter. So in those, the igloos were so insulated and so great in terms of deflecting the wind. I talked about that before. That just a small amount of constant burning of this would, and people's body heats would heat this up, igloo up in the freezing cold of winter. There'd also be valuable whalebone to trade on whaling ships for cloth, etc. So that brings us to trading ships that aren't local, but that are hunting whales. And this is Arctic Rovings, or The Adventures of a New Bedford Boy on Sea and Land. Daniel Weston Hall kept an account and a record, and this was taken and edited by Jerome Beatty, Jr., and it's quite a story. Lots of information about the organization of the ship and where it would go, and New Bedford, 1848. Now, it's going all the way over towards Siberia, and here's how they would have this tool with a sharp blade. They would cut the blubber, and hoisting the blanket pieces, which we saw in that previous big hook into it, and up they would come, and they would be in a walkway out here over the water, and how they fixed that up, and something about the different kinds of whales, and Honolulu, and this boy gets he's out, they're rowing. I actually did what many an older and better seaman than myself has occasionally done before me, that is to say, I had the misfortune to cramp my oar, meaning he didn't enter the water and get it out smoothly, and whereupon Captain Whiteside knocked me off my seat and goes on to he's in that boat, unfortunately, with the captain. Well, the captain seems to have it out for him, and it's it doesn't take up lots of space in the pages, but it certainly takes up space in his mind. And when he gets the chance, he when they camp in Siberia on the coast, he disappears there, and so he spends the winter in Siberia. He manages to be rescued there, and makes his way back to the Sandwich Islands and so forth, and gets home, and it all works out. It would take a lot of guts, I think, but to leave ship in a place where it has pretty harsh winters to begin with. So, but things worked out. Thanks for joining me. Until next time, bye for now.